Hello, my message to you all this week is it's important to remember we must try and be cheerful. Take me, for instance. It surprise you to learn that I'm not always like this. You know, sometimes I can be quite miserable. May come as a shock to some of you to learn that I'm not always this chirpy, happy-go-lucky chap I make myself out to be. I think it's important to remember what Plato once said. Que fuernant vitae moris sunt. I don't know what it means, but it's well worth remembering. Uh, well, it's been a sort of a mixed bag of a week. Speaking of the wife, Phasia wasn't feeling herself for quite a while. It was great while it lasted. No, I think it all started with the World Cup. She found it most enjoyable, but pretty tiring. She was playing centre forward for Argentina. Now she's back and throwing herself into her social work again among the misfits of society, the bewildered and the feeble-minded, or as I call them, her family. Speaking of the feeble-minded, whilst we may do nothing about the starving in Africa or help the Syrian people, there are certain things that you can do. No, really, without costing you any money either. You see, there's certain con men around, and we can't get rid of con men. Let's hold our hands up to that. We'll never get rid of them. Con men will be around as long as there are people. But there's a group of con men operating with the blessing of the government. Oh, yes, they are indeed. You see, if your granny was told by some Nigerian fellow that she'd won the lottery and she only had to pay to get the money transferred, you would do your best to help her, wouldn't you? Well, if your Aunt Nellie was told to pay some money to receive a message from her dead daddy, would you not do the same and tell her to stop wasting her money? Well, you should. Well, you see, the government say that you yourself, could be a psychic with their blessing. As long as you say that they're in heaven, they're looking after you, all this sort of thing. You can't tell anyone they're dying, you've got cancer, your mother's in hell. You can't say these things. But the government say you can say anything else. And you can make some of the millions that other people make conning people. Well, right after you finish watching this, I want you to email your MP, join the thousands of folk like me. Well, there's three of us anyway. Email your MP and say you want the issue raised in Parliament to stop these thieves from advertising or performing. We can change the law and make things better for people. Ah, oh dear, I put my back out this week. I was conducting the choir. Well, we call it the choir. It's two old men and a snotty-nosed youth from the community department. We foster them. It's like living with a piranha. Anyway, my back was out and I went home and the physio told me the dinner was in the dog. I was feeling pretty miserable. I hobbled upstairs and eventually ended up in bed. Couldn't, these nights you just can't get any comfort at all. I had my arm flopping about outside the bed and the other arm was under the pillow. And at one point I had my head stuck up the chimney. One foot flopping on the carpet and my other over my good wife Ephesia. She being a decisive sort of lazy lady and not quite sure of my intentions, rose up and belted me one. Well, I tossed and turned all night. I couldn't sleep at all. It got worse. 6 o'clock in the morning. I was up, got a glass of water, tripped down the stairs, broke my collarbone. At that point, the doorbell rang, and I crawled over to the door, managed to open the latch, and there was this lovely little girl guide selling lucky white heather. My case comes up on Friday. Good night.